It's about passion. It is truly about the passion. You got to want it, and that's why that car exists, really, because, you know, I wanted it. I wanted it to look like that, and I wanted it to be different, and I got it. The shape, the brutality of the car, the design, and that 1960s race car thing. No, I didn't want to be a mechanic. I was actually going to be an architect, but my brother, he was an apprentice motor mechanic. One day, a letter got slipped under the door, and it was for him to go and sit an interview for an apprenticeship. He'd already got it, so I just took it, and I actually went down there. And I sat the interview. I was 14. When I started my apprenticeship, I was at a dealership, and I was fortunate there was one of the salesmen there. He had a Group C car that had been pushed in the corner because that series had finished. Anyway, it needed work, an engine put in it, all those sorts of things, and he said to me, "Oh, if you do all the work on the car," he said, "basically we'll both drive it. He'll foot the bills." So, you know, I spent countless hours. I made parts for that car, bought a race suit and a helmet. Off I went, and I thought I was good until you get in the car and then you realise how little you know. He'd done quite a few Bathursts and, you know, touring car rounds. It was a good starter, and he was a good tutor. So that was my introduction, and it was a good car. My name's Jim Cowden from Cowden Automotive. This is about my GT40 alloy bodied replica. I bought it off an Australian company. I didn't buy that much. I actually bought a frame, suspension, and there was body work, and that was pretty much the fundamentals behind the kit. I decided to start making some of the parts myself, changing some of the stuff that they had supplied because either it was a look thing or I just wanted something different. And it just got out of control. All the suspension is hand-built by myself. The wheels are hand-built by myself. The seats, all the small exterior mirrors, bits and pieces, all the bracketry, everything's handmade. It's a Ford Mustang Cobra 1996 engine. They call it a Ford modular. The induction system is handmade. Throttle bodies were handmade, linkages, levers, everything there. The ECU is an Autronic SM4, so it can all be programmed. The exhaust system's all handmade. I actually built the roof, the doors, and when I actually started on the rear, I realised that it was a fiberglass body, and the shapes they'd put into this, no one in their right mind would build an aluminium body with these shapes. And I did struggle with it, but I sort of like remember the pain of doing it, and you know, I had to get files and heat them up with the oxy and actually bend them into bananas so that I could get in there. Sometimes I get here at 4 and 5 in the morning because I want to get up and I want to go and do it. There was a point some time ago, I sort of calculated how long I'd spent, and it was around 15,000 hours. You never stop with the car. There's always a modification, there's always an upgrade. It's never finished. Ergonomically, they're really shocking, and you know, one thing I noticed when I was building it was just how you were going to actually get in there and fit. So there was a lot of moving of componentry here and there. You still have to work within what you've got. So, you know, all the adjustments are all very minor, but it makes the difference. You've got pedals that are slightly off to one side, same with the steering column. You've got a gear shift on the right-hand side, which is always a bit weird. I opted for a 4.6 Cobra Mustang engine. Dimensionally, it's quite a large motor, so it sucks up quite a bit of space, which made it tight, but at the end of the day, it's an ultra reliable engine and it makes good power. The transaxle basically has a differential and the gearbox is all in one unit. This gearbox comes out of an Audi. On the original 40, they had 4 downdraft Webers on it, and that could be seen through the back windows. To cover it up, it's just such a shame because it just looks nice and it gives the car some interest. Even if somebody's behind you, you can see them looking in there at it, you know, in their 4-wheel drive parked next to you. Yeah, look, it is for show. I think they're the little trademarks the car has, and the sound's awesome. I got into Nulon Nationals. I was asked, somebody wandered into my shop and said, hey, we're looking for guys in the Ford team. And he knew me through someone else, and I said, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. It's great, you know, I enjoy it. It's just a bit more relaxed for me. There's always brake fluid flush, clutch fluid flush, the wheels come off, I do a spanner check on all the suspension. I like to hoist the car and actually go around and just go through all of those checks, oil leaks, water leaks, check for suspension movement anywhere. I've had a few race cars. With this car, it feels like you never master it. I think that's what interests me about the car. It's the period too. We're talking still about a 1960s car when I take it to the racetrack. They were a race car and they were knocked around. They weren't perfect, you know. Look, there are things I see where there's been imperfections. I see them now and then, but, you know, over time that stuff just disappears and you got to let it go. I was going to paint it. There was tool marks on it. There's, you know, you can see where you've welded it and you don't quite get the finish in some places because it's just too difficult. A friend of mine, he's a panel beater, has done a lot of restoration work. He turned up here and he actually walked around the car and he looked at it. He stood next to me and he said, you know, you can't paint it. You're just going to have to leave it the way it is. So I'm glad I listened to him because it turned out perfect. I actually pretty much love doing everything on it.